Williams veers left, pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jaylin Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11.109. Now SGA probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Jaylin Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Topic Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Hunzinger at Thunder Chats. We're part of the B-Weave Network, and this podcast is brought to you by BetOnline.ag. Now that that's out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, the Thunder don't even need their starters to win basketball games. Being victorious tonight against the Portland Trailblazers, 107-89, and what was one of the funnest games, like just low-key one of the funnest Thunder games that I've watched in a long time. I really enjoyed it. But I am not alone in my enjoyment. I'm not alone on this podcast. I've got the one, the only, the return of the Matty Moles. What up, Moles?
Hey, man. Not a whole lot. Wrapping up my bachelor's situation, getting some things together, ready for the meetup here in about 2 weeks. It's going to be pretty freaking dope. And we've already sold a lot of tickets, and we're expecting a big turnout before. So, man, it's going to be a blast. 3rd year doing this thing. So you want to go ahead and plug that real quick?
Absolutely. Yeah. Without bearing the lead, our 3rd annual Topic Thunder fan event is within 2 weeks away. It will be on March. Actually, it's 2 weeks from today. Sorry. I keep doing the day that we arrive and not the actual fan event, but the fan event is 2 weeks from today on March 21st against the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets are a scrappy, fun team. They took the Cavs to the wire tonight. They're a good basketball team. They've got some good players. But you're not going to watch the Charlotte Hornets. You're going to watch the Oklahoma City Thunder and that historic team. When their starters play, they're historic. And when their bench plays, they are still so much fun to watch. So no matter what happens, it's going to be a great time. You get to hang out with all of us, myself, Moles, Alex, Cone, Jerry, Tierney, and for the first time ever, Stephen Dolan making a live appearance for the Top Thunder fan event. So that's going to be awesome. That's worth the price of admission itself. But you also get to go down on the court after the game, take a big group photo with all of us, with all 110 of your closest friends. That is right. We have a confirmed ticket amount so far, which is 110. Very excited, but hey, there's still time to get on board with that. But first, I got to continue to tell you about what you can do. After we take the pictures, we are going to line up, or you're going to take a half-court shot on the Thunder court, which bucket list in and of itself. But if you make that bucket list shot, if you make a bucket on that bucket list shot, if you will, you get a basketball signed by the entire Oklahoma City Thunder basketball team. Let me tell you, that's going to be a hot commodity. I'm coming for that basketball. I want that basketball. So you have your work cut out for you, but you have as much of a chance as anybody else in that arena to get that basketball. But in order to do this, you've got to go to our Twitter at OKC Topic Thunder, find our pinned tweet, click on that link. Then there are only upper arena seats available, which there's not a bad seat in that arena, in my opinion. And for the price that you're getting all of this, the game, meeting us, going down to the floor, taking pictures, shooting a basketball on Oklahoma City's court, and the chance to win a signed basketball by the entire team, you can get all of that for the cheap price of $16. That's dirt cheap. Like, you just got to do it. Like, I don't know. Like, in the past, we've had people who have season tickets and have literally bought an upper-level seat just so they could be a part of this. Feel free to do that. We encourage that. But, yeah, either way, I think last year we had 119 people. So we're 9 off from our record last year. I'd love to see, just give me 10 more people. 10 more people at this. Give me 120. Let us break the record by one. That would make me so happy. But you don't want to miss out on this. It's a great event. We have a great time every year. And I say time is running out every time. Time is literally running out. I think you have 1 week before the link goes dead. So definitely tap in on that. It's going to be a great time. We look forward to seeing you there. But moving on to what happened tonight. Matty Moles, the Oklahoma City Thunder hosted the Portland Trailblazers. It was announced yesterday that Shai, Dub, Ihart, Dort, and Casey Wallace were all going to be out of this game. Chet Holmgren was listed questionable, so we had the allure that Chet Holmgren might be playing alongside Aaron Wiggins. Might see a little two-way action with that. But Chet was ruled out earlier today, and it was later announced that the starting lineup was going to be Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Usman Jang, Kendrick Williams, and Jaylin Williams. Not Dub, Big J Will. And right off rip, man, I was excited for this game. There's sometimes especially in the rebuilding years, at the end of the season, where it would be hard to watch some of these games. But as Max said here in the chat, loved watching this unit. As soon as I saw the starting lineup, I was like, this is going to be so much fun. I tweeted out, whenever the first, outs were announced, I was like, Aaron Wiggins, 50-point game, Usman Jang triple-double, Zay Joe breaking the three-point record. We're here. And, obviously I was being tongue-in-cheek, but, it wasn't that far off, man. It was crazy. All the guys, literally showed out tonight. And I can't wait to talk about it, Moles. I'm going to give you the honors, man, because, I like to give the guests, not the guests, but I like to give the other person, I like to defer the first single large item. So I want to give the first single large item to you, my friend.
And you'll take the ball in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was told that J-Dub was not playing tonight, but that was inaccurate because J-Trip-Dub did play. Yeah, J Will, man. Was it Jaylin Williams or was it Nikola Jokic out there? I don't know.
One and
I
the
couldn't
same.
really. With the passes he was making that were just so on rhythm, on target from different platforms behind the back, bounce passes to a guy who's cutting through the lane. It was just beautiful to watch the way he distributed the ball. So his line, 10 points, 11 assists, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, number 1 in your heart. Let's freaking go. Plus 35 in the plus minus. Just incredible performance out of the guy. And maybe just as importantly, 2 out of 4 from Boomtown. So gotta love it. I like it, love it, want some more of it. Let's freaking go. Good way to ball out, J Will.
Yeah, he was crazy, man. I think right off rip, he had 4 assists in the first quarter, and it was it's gonna be one of those games. And it's funny, I was even telling one of my buddies that does sports betting. He was like, "What are we doing for the Thunder game tonight?" I was like, "Let me see who's playing first." And then once I realized who was playing, who was starting, everything, I was like, "Dude, the last time Jaylin Williams played and all of our starters were out, he had 12 assists." I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but I think 6 assists is safe. He had 6 assists halfway through the second quarter. He was absolutely nuts, and it's kind of maddening what him, Wiggins, Ooze, all these guys can do whenever the starters aren't playing. It's awesome to see them stepping up, but it's man, why couldn't you do a scaled down version of that whenever you're playing with a main rotation? That would be such a helpful player. But yeah, he played with so much confidence in terms of his passing. He was really feeling himself after he got those first 4 assists, started trying to do some wild ones. He had a behind the back that went out of bounds. Of course, he had some iHeart signature, between the leg on the DHOs to Isaiah Joe. But yeah, man, that bounce pass out of the short roll and off the elbow was just absolute money. I think the best one he made all night, I think it was to Isaiah Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Joe
coming on the right side.
Yeah, Isaiah Joe didn't even make it, and I was he was just absolutely in his bag tonight in terms of passing, rebounding. He got his work done early, and I was almost more impressed with the rebounding than I was the passing, just because of the competition. Donovan Clingan is a truck. He's very raw as a basketball player, but in terms of just taking up space and getting rebounds, he's a truck. He had 12 tonight, but J Will matched his effort on the glass and was able to get that 11. It's funny, he had that double-double. He had the double-double rebounds and assists in the third quarter. It's man, he could have a triple double if he would just score. I think he had 3 points. He hit a three in the beginning of the game and didn't score again until like the fourth quarter. But yeah, he got his triple double, man, and it was really fun to see the team kind of rally around him at the end of the game and celebrate him, throw towels at him, dump water on him. Like it was a great time.
Dub tweeting out the real Jaylin Williams. It's pretty dope.
That's amazing. I need to see that.
It's great, man. Like just this team, this freaking team.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop with him, man. Like it's funny, we had 6 of our 7 on a meeting, before the pod, just kind of planning for the trip. Like if all of us was on at the same time, we could all have a legitimate single large item, like not even like trying to like wedge one in there, just because of all the guys that stepped up. I mean, there's low hanging fruit there, but I've got to go with my guy. Like I've got to stay true to me. I got
Jang gang.
The Jang gang was smiling ear to ear tonight with Usman Jang putting in just a really solid performance. 16.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. Shot 6 of 10 from the field and 4 of 6 from 3. And what's funny, Moles, is he could have had a better game. I think this was easy 20-point game if he didn't tweak his leg there in the third quarter. He was just absolutely feeling it, and it might just be, like the eye test, but I really feel like his shots got so much quicker. And
it's pretty. It looks good too.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing, man. It's been so frustrating because his form's always looked like good. Like it's always looked mechanically solid, and he still shoots like 29% from 3 every year. But like over this last stretch of games that he's gotten into, like his shot looks so much quicker, still looks mechanically clean, and it's going in. And it's going in at a high clip. He even made another one off of a pump fake and like duck under Klingen. He made the shot, but it was still in his fingertips when the shot clock went off. So it was a shot clock violation. Could have been 5 of 7 from 3. Like, and I would have been absolutely flipping out. But it wasn't just that. He was present defensively. Those 2 steals. He had a couple, really good pokeways, a couple good contests. He walled up his, not walled up his defender. He walled up the guy he was guarding a few times going to the rim. And he had a really nice Euro step over Shaden Sharp in transition for a dunk. So I was very pleased with what I saw to Usman Jang. And again, man, like that's a useful player, like a 6'10" guy that can shoot and kind of do everything else at like a solid level. Like that's a useful player. That's a rotation player, and it's just like I want to see more of that against better teams. And like to his credit, the last game we played, he got in for a few minutes, and he played solidly in that as well. So hopefully it's a sign of things to come. It's Jang until we die over here for Thunder Chats. But yeah, man, I was very pleased with what I saw.
Well, and before the Euro step, he had this immediately before the Euro step, he had the step back 3 that just like not the step under that he got called that, but dude, like that thing looked like, man, I'm the number 1 scorer on a team type of move. And it just was it was so pure with such confidence, like the greenest of lights, I'm sure tonight for a lot of these guys, but like, my God, the way that he just asserted himself in the right spots was very, very, it was very good to see for his development.
Oh, all right, we're back. Sorry about that. Moles, are you there?
Yeah, did it freeze during my take on Jang, or did I get it out?
I didn't hear it, but that doesn't mean that it didn't get out. I didn't realize that it would even cut you out when it cut me out, so I apologize for that. But yeah, go ahead.
Just saying, Jang's assertiveness.
Mm-hmm.
He looked very good. It looked very polished. He was very confident. Pretty much the anti-Jang that we saw at the beginning of last season. He's growing, and I think he's earning himself some money somewhere with how he's shown up the back half of this season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As T said, Jang Gang, we ate tonight. Shout out to T also in the chat. And he says the homies. So we love T. T is a avid commenter. So shout out T. Yeah, man. Shout out Ooze. He was awesome. I want to see more of that. Hey, it would be crazy. It would be crazy if we saw some Usman Jang run in the Nuggets game. Either of the Nuggets games coming up on Sunday and Tuesday. So that would be awesome to see. So Moles, going back to you, man. Alex and Tierney aren't on here yet, so they missed out. What is your next single large item?
I mean, do I take the low hanging fruit? I'll leave it. Maybe you catch it this next round.
You can go a few ways.
If you told me that some Thunder players were missing, some key Thunder players were missing, I would have assumed Alex Caruso would have been one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out he was the only one of the main guys that did play tonight, and he still scored 17 points. I mean, 2 for 2 from 3. Love to see his development there, or his confidence, his shots coming back after a really Josh Giddey-ish start from 3 to start the season. 6 of 8 from the field. 3 steals in his own right in only 24 minutes. Like, I mean, everything that dude does, when the ball's going through the hoop for him, the guy is like a top 15 type caliber player in the NBA. And that's not hyperbole. He's just that effective in so very few minutes. So awesome to see him get in and get some run. Perhaps this is the type of game that he doesn't need to be getting that kind of run in.
Yeah.
But it was still good to see him out there and performing well.
Yeah, no, Caruso was awesome. He's the man of the hour right now. He was on the Young Man 3 the other day, and had a lot of fun things to say about the Thunder and different people at the roster. Said that they call him OG and old man. They say Casey makes fun of him for being bald. So it's vibes are high in Alex Caruso land right now. But yeah, man, 17 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 3 steal, 1 block. Just shows me how active he is, man. Like, every time he's on the floor, man, he's running. He's playing like his hair's on fire. Like, that's why he's bald, because he plays like his hair's on fire and his hair all burnt away. But no, man, he's a monster in transition as well. Like, he's a real weapon in that regard. And we have, like, when our starters are playing, we have so many guys that are effective with the ball in transition, like mainly like Shai and Jaylin Williams. So it's cool to see that he has that in his bag. Man, the steals and the block, man. Like, specifically that block, that one on who was it? Was it? It was Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson was just slicing us up there in the second half, and he made a move on Adam Flagler. Just absolutely chewed up Adam Flagler and got to the rim, and Caruso, he double clutched, and Caruso just came up out of nowhere and swatted it out of the stands. And yeah, man, he's nuts. And I've kind of been saying that his minutes have been on the lower side. We're not starting him because he's going to play a bigger role in the playoffs, and we just have to get him to the playoffs, because the thing that makes Alex Caruso so great is also what makes him so not as durable, as he just plays every game like it's his last game. He plays every minute like it's his last minute. He uses his body as like a human torpedo. So he gets hurt a lot. So we're just trying to protect him from himself. I fully believe that. But when I see games like this, again, we're seeing him get expanded minutes. I want to see this with the main rotation. I want to see this kind of performance with the main rotation. Just like a scaled down version. I know he's been shooting a lot better. He's been scoring around like 6, 7, 8 points every game. But yeah, I just want to see more. I just want to see more. It's really fun to see whenever he's cooking.
What do you? Nope. What's your your second large item?
I mean, I feel like it'd be a fun bet if we just kept pushing.
Like, man, the water refreshment team was really on it tonight.
Honestly, man, like, I was really impressed with Isaiah Joe tonight.
Okay, let's go.
I mean, we was talking about before we started the pod. Like, he didn't end up shooting great. It was 4-12, 3 and 9 from 3. But man, that I'm trying to see. I think it was in the second quarter. Like, he just took over. He had 11 straight points in 7 minutes. I think he went on like a 7-0 run by himself. In that run, he had 2 threes. Got to the line, had 3 free throws. And also had 2 assists in that run. And honestly, that's the thing that impressed me most about Isaiah Joe's game tonight. Obviously, like, when the moon ball is haunting you, it's awesome. But, whenever that lineup was announced, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Usman Jang, Kendrick Williams, Jaylin Williams, like, all those guys are capable of distributing the ball, but none of them are like a true point guard. I feel like if anybody played like a true point guard position, obviously Jay Will ran the hub and like he was very effective in that spot. But like in terms of like bringing the ball up the court, creating off of drives for others, because Wiggins was great creating off drives, but it was more for himself. But Isaiah Joe had some really good passes off of drives tonight, and I was very impressed by his passing and his playmaking. And again, like, that's just another wrinkle. Like, Isaiah Joe is so much more than a shooter, so much more than a scorer. Like, what he's been able to do to develop and grow his game since he's been in OKC is just nothing short of remarkable. And yeah, shout out Isaiah Joe, man. The moonball haunts you.
That dude is just, he can go through some streaks where, like, when it's not going in, it feels really like clunky and it's not pretty, but there's not a lot better than when he's just feeling himself and he's able to get the ball in rhythm and step into it. Like, the guy is as lethal as anybody outside of maybe Steph Curry in being able to just like knock down 2 or 3 threes like within a short span and really flip a game. It's pretty remarkable, that we were able to get him and that we were able to retain him on the deal that we were in the offseason to extend him. It's also pretty remarkable that the guy that he got extended with was extended to less money in descending fashion. So he's only going to become more affordable for us as we try to cobble together a really expensive roster. So I kind of talked a bit early on. Why don't you take the low-hanging fruit here and talk about the man who say basketball?
Well, Kendrick Williams was great. 10 points, 6 rebounds. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about Aaron Wiggins. Shout out to our guy, Savir. Says this was such a fun game. It absolutely was. And a lot of it was because of Aaron Wiggins. And it's funny because whenever it was announced that all those guys was out, like, everybody immediately focused on Aaron Wiggins and what he was going to do scoring the basketball. So much so that, like, sports books, like, had his
21 and a half.
They had like his 20 points at like negative odds. It's like, dude, like, this is like an 8th, 9th man. Like, I get it. Like, he can score like that, but like, why are you guys doing this to us? And I mean, they were right, man. He started off slow. Like, that's what was crazy about it. I don't even think he scored by the time he checked out in the first quarter. Kamara was actually doing a really good job of guarding him. But when he checked back in the second quarter, like, he just went right to work. I'm trying to see. Well, I just closed out my app. Here we go. Aaron Wiggins. So in the first quarter, he had. I clicked on the Thunder, not Aaron Wiggins. Jesus Christ, terrible podcasting. Okay, no. So he had 9 minutes. Whenever he checked out the first part, he had not scored, and then he scored 9 points in like the final 5 minutes of the first quarter. Got it done with a couple of drives. He made what ended up being his only three, which was basically at the buzzer. And it just goes to show you, like, we could have been looking at another Aaron Wiggins 40-point game if his 3-point shot was falling.
He was 2 for 9. Yeah.
Oh, he did hit 2? Okay, yeah, my bad. Yeah, but, like, still, like, 2 for 9. Like, that's not a good percentage. And, like, that's not an indicator of how good he has been at shooting. But, yeah, man, like, he just went right to work, as soon as he checked in and every other time. And it was just, like, it was in spurts. Like, it would be like he's out of the game, and then he'd check into the game, and he's just kind of played within the flow of the offense. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, a switch flip. And it's like bucket, layup, dunk, free throw, jumper. Like, it was just like, it was nuts. It was ridiculous. And some of these drives, man, some of these angles that he was hitting these layups on looked a lot like number 2 over there sitting on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had one where, like, I'm trying to remember who he was on, but it was like on the left side. He blew by him and was like underneath the basket and had to contort his body just to like get the ball up, but it looked so effortless.
Mm-hmm.
It looked, I mean, if you took the 1 off of his jersey, you would have thought it was Shai. With that. And the best play that he had offensively, he was like at the top of the key around, like, the shot clock was starting to go down. He did this like turnaround, like fade away from like 18 feet up near the top of the key. And it was just butter. And it looked like it was supposed to go in.
Mm-hmm.
He was just so locked in. The guy has more in his bag than what we are able to see on a consistent basis. And I'm so excited that he's getting a chance to showcase himself some. And I'm really excited that we have the man on an extension and he's not just playing for like 1.6 million this year and then going to go make, I mean, unfortunately for him, go make like maybe 20 million somewhere. Cause somebody might be willing to look at this and say, who knows? Maybe he could be that guy. This is going to go down as like a Scottie Pippen type of value for our dynasty if we get to build one.
Yeah, and what's crazy, man, he was the 55th pick in the NBA draft. He was the last pick that the Thunder made of 4 picks in this draft, in which we picked top 6. And he's the only one remaining. He's the last man standing, and it feels like he just continuously gets better. Like he doesn't stagnate. It's like a scaled down version of Shai in terms of like his development and his improvement. Like he's literally gotten better every year, added something to his game every year. Like he came into the league as like being like a mid-range shooter slasher. And of course he added his 3-ball. He was really good at defense last year. This year he's really improved his driving game. I've been very impressed by his drives and ability to get to the rim. And it's just like, what is the ceiling for this guy? Like how much better can he get? Like I made a blanket statement on Twitter. I feel pretty confident in this statement. I think Aaron Wiggins is the best role player that the Thunder have ever had.
Well, that's tough. I mean, Hartenstein exists.
Well, that's the thing. It depends on how you define role player. Like when I say role player, I mean like non-starter. So I guess I can say bench player, but I don't know. Bench player feels like more derogatory than role player. But yeah, like bench role guy, I think that I think Aaron Wiggins is easily like the best of them.
I mean, a little bit more of this, like Harden came off the bench. Schroeder came off the bench.
I don't know, man. He's creeping up there on the Schroeder conversation.
But yeah, I feel you. I mean, he saved basketball. So what are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yeah, shout out DCFNF also always chiming in here. Says, in my opinion, favorite game of the year. I hope that showed up. It didn't show up on my screen.
It did. It did for me. I saw it.
Okay, cool. T said, could Bronny, another 55th pick, produce like Aaron Wiggins?
In the G
I
League,
don't
he
know,
certainly
man.
can.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing great in the G. I mean, that's the thing. Like, development isn't linear. Like, just because somebody else is doing it, doesn't mean somebody else can. Like, just because like Scoot is like a perfect example. Like Victor Wembanyama, like came in the league like ready to go. A lot of people thought Scoot was the same way. Scoot took a little bit to get going, and he still might take a little bit to get going. But you're starting to see more flashes this season for Scoot than you did last season. For Wemby, it was pretty much instant. And like you can bring up the size or whatever you want to, but like it comes down to development, understanding the game. And I feel like Bronny's got a good head on his shoulders. Like I don't envy him in terms of like the situation that he's in. Just having the world crushing pressure of being LeBron James' son, and trying to produce at that level. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see for Bronny.
I would like the record to show that the Thunder also shot less free throws than their opponent again tonight.
Again? Yeah. The other thing I kind of wanted to point out here is I've seen a lot of people saying, like, kind of poo-pooing this win. It's like, oh, it's against Portland Trailblazers. Like, they're one of the worst teams in the league. It's like, you just haven't been paying attention if you still believe that. I looked it up. The Portland Trailblazers in the last 15 games are number 6 in terms of defensive rating. And the last 15 games, they're number 8 in terms of net rating. And since January, they have one of the league's best record, like since the start of the new year. So, like, if you're still banging the drum that the Portland Trailblazers are a terrible basketball team, like you just don't pay attention to the league. You don't know ball. Like that's all it comes down to.
You should work for ESPN.
Yeah, just spouting off random nonsense. But the simple fact is, the Portland Trailblazers have been a good team. Sure, they were missing. Who was that? Well, I know they were missing DeAndre Ayton, but Ayton hasn't been around really for that run. They were missing Denny Avdia was really the only guy like in the rotation that they were missing that has been part of like this turnaround. But I mean, if you're talking about Denny Avdia versus Shai, Jaylin Williams, Chet Holmgren, Ihart, Casey Wallace, like it's not even a conversation. But the fact is, like, this is a good basketball team, and the Thunder's bench just absolutely dismantled them, beat them by 18 points at home. Like that's crazy. That's just a testament to how deep this Thunder team is.
Is Jeremy Grant? I don't know if I should say this, but is he a sinking ship?
He's been awful this year, man. He got paid and he just tumbled down. Like,
I hate to see it, man.
Yeah, it's rough. It really is rough for Jeremy Grant because he really had some moments for that Thunder team. But it's funny, before the game, I was making a parlay, and they added Jeremy Grant like right before the game. I guess they was thinking he might not play. And I was looking at him on the scored 10 points. I was like, I don't know. I don't trust it. And he had 4 points tonight. So
0 for 6 from 3.
Honestly, just looked bad, man. And I gotta say credit to the Thunder defense in terms of like shutting down Anthony Simons. Simons was going off in the first half, specifically in the second quarter. He had 13 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Had 14 points going into halftime with 1 point scored in the first quarter and the 13 right there in the second quarter. Didn't score another bucket the entire game. Like, just completely shut him out. Obviously, like I said, Scoot had a good game. Shaedon Sharpe looked good out there. So, yeah, I haven't sold my stock on Shaedon Sharpe at all. I think he's going to turn out to be a really good player. But, yeah, that's was very impressed with the win. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people say this. DCNS is all the Thunder fans on Twitter saying trade Wiggs for Cam Johnson, stay on that side. Hand up. I mean, if you guys have listened to this pod, you guys know that I was an advocate of that trade just because Cam Johnson has been like a career 40% three-point shooter on volume, and we had never seen this type of volume scoring or shooting out of Aaron Wiggins. after the trade deadline has happened, like since February, Aaron Wiggins has been playing out of his mind. I think I saw he was scoring 18 points per game. I'm like 53% shooting from the field and like 40-something% from the three-point line. So, like, let's be very clear. This version of Aaron Wiggins is not the player that Thunder fans were saying they would be willing to trade for Cam Johnson. I wasn't saying, like, absolutely should, but I would say if that was to happen, I would be willing for it to happen. But this is not the same guy, and I fully stand on that.
Been a completely different animal for sure over the last month of the season. Oh man. Yeah, the Cam Johnson thing, it turns out it was good that we didn't pull the trigger on that kind of a move, but I get it. I get there are different ways that people want to improve the team. And it doesn't always have to be personal. But yeah, it's nice that Wiggins is like balling out and showing us. So and I would say he's going to get a bag, but he's certainly not, because he's locked down for almost nothing for the next 4 years. So
Yep. We will take that value. We'll take the value of Isaiah Joe. We'll take every value we could possibly get. And also, just while we're at it, thank you to Philadelphia for releasing Isaiah Joe. Thank you to Chicago for taking Josh Giddey and not having to take any other picks for Alex Caruso. We appreciate you for that. And thank you to Orlando Magic for taking Paolo Banchero instead of Chet Holmgren. So thank you all.
I mean, thank you to the Magic for trading for Serge Ibaka.
Yeah. Like, hey, let's just rewind it back. Hey, thank you to Sam Presti for being who you are. Okay?
Thank you for Sabonis and Oladipo. Really appreciate you.
Yep. Set us up for some good things.
All this doesn't happen without that. So,
oh, hey, kind of round about. Obviously this guy didn't play in the game, but Moles, Brian Windhorst went on ESPN this week and basically said, I think a lot of people are kind of looking over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He said that a lot of people are talking about this MVP race. He says, I don't think that's the case. I think it's Shai's to lose. I think he's running away with it. He had 51 points against the Rockets. He's had 4 50-point games like the last 19 days. Brian Windhorst thinks that this is Shai's MVP to lose. Obviously, we've got a couple big games coming up against the Denver Nuggets, in which we will be playing against Nikola Jokic. It's nice that the Thunder got this rest day, to kind of recuperate and going into that game. As we speak, the Nuggets are playing the Suns. Jokic has a triple-double. Ho-hum, he always does. 19 points, 13 rebounds, 15 assists as we're speaking, with like 8 minutes left to go. But Moles, what do you think? What do you think the outlook is for MVP as it stands right now?
Two trains of thought. Jokic over the last 4 seasons has been that dude, right? Pretty hands down been that guy. There's voter fatigue, which allowed Embiid to snag an MVP. And I wonder if some people are just going to say, you know what, I'm giving it to Jokic regardless, because he is that dude. And I'm not going to let voter fatigue sway me again, especially with how Embiid has fallen on his face. That being said, the best player on arguably the best team, a historic team, a guy who was runner-up last year, if you say Jokic is the better player, I can't hate on that, because you could argue that this season statistically has been better than some of his other ones. But while you're arguing for Jokic to get it, it's really hard for you to argue against SGA to get it. And I see both points, but if the collective is actually watching the Thunder and actually appreciating what the hell the Thunder have done over the last 2 seasons, I know it's for just this one, but you have to give it to SGA. And we're way freaking biased here, but he does it on both ends of the floor too. He's still the odds had him in like the top 10 or whatever, top 7 for defensive player of the year even. Like he gets it done on both sides. He's leading the league in points. Like, oh, but he doesn't have all the rebounds and assists. It's like because the entire offense doesn't have to flow through him. And he still gets his because he's efficient. And he does what he has to do. It's just I don't know. I think a lot of people are reluctant for some reason. Maybe this is an Oklahoma hatred thing for people, but like it seems like the media just does not want to give OKC any flowers at all. They didn't want to last year when we were the 1 seed. So while I think it should be up and away his award, I can't be certain because of the people who vote on it that it appears that there is a certain bias against Oklahoma City for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes all the way to the top at ESPN, which Charles Barkley had to like clap back at this week, talking about, man, it's not all about the Lakers and the Warriors. Like we have the Cavs and the Thunder crushing it at a historic level. Like maybe pay attention to them, but nobody wants to. Who's even talking about anything accolades really for the Cavs? The Cavs aren't getting enough notoriety either.
No. Yeah, and like as good and as historic as the Thunder have been, the Cavs have also been like historically good offensively. Like their offense is absolutely nuts, and like they just added DeAndre Hunter, and DeAndre Hunter has shored up a lot of the issues that they had earlier in the season in terms of like having a wing scorer, having a wing guy that can, not lock down, other like elite wings, but can at least, guard them, like put a body on them and make life a little bit more difficult for them. But no, to your credit, man, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is actually number 5 right now in the depoy odds according to FanDuel.
Jokic will never be up there.
He's right behind our boy Wiggins Dort. So, and then Shai is currently minus 700 for the MVP, and Jokic is plus 420. But no, man, I tend to agree with you. As T mentioned, like, the win differential alone should tip it to Shai. Like, if we're talking about winning, man, like, I mean, let me just pull up what the records are right now, because the Thunder are 52-11. The Nuggets are 40-22. Like, they are 11 and a half games back from the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I know Denver's had their struggles this year, and I know Jokic has been putting up crazy numbers, but MVP is also a narrative thing. And Jokic doesn't really have a narrative. Like, does he have stats? Absolutely. Is his team still really good? Absolutely. But not only does Shai have the stats, not only is his team really good, not only does he play both sides of the floor, Shai has done this while missing, I think this was his first game or the second game he missed of the season against the Portland Trailblazers. He's done it without missing games, while the rest of his team has missed all kinds of games. Between Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso, Kendrick Williams, the other Jaylin Williams, Dort's missed a handful of games, Kayson's missed games, Isaiah Joe's missed games. Like, I would say that Shai, Dub, and really Aaron Wiggins are the only guys in the main rotation that haven't missed at least like 5 or 6 games. Like, I would have to like fact check myself, but like just like kind of looking at it, that kind of feels right. And the Thunder haven't missed a beat. And it's because every single night, no matter who else is on the floor, number 2 in Oklahoma City Thunder Blue is going to be rocking a headband and a leg sleeve, and he's going to be coming to rip your throat out on both ends of the floor. And it has helped the Thunder to maintain this awesome defense because he's a menace off ball. He's getting stocks like crazy, leads the league in steals again, like just absolutely killing it. Total steals, I apologize. And then offensively, offense took a while to kind of get going, but they are now up to 4 in offensive rating in the league right now. Number 1 net rating, one of the best net ratings of all time. All of this is possible because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is him, and he has been playing like the MVP. We talk about development not being linear. His development track is unheard of. Like, we've never seen a guy that has developed as quickly and as drastically year after year as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And it's honestly kind of terrifying for the rest of the league. Like, how much better can this guy get? Like, he has a game that's going to age like fine wine. Like, he doesn't rely on athleticism at all. He relies on angles, and he relies on basically manipulating the defense, like, against themselves. Like, with all of his counters that he has with his dribble moves. Like, that isn't going away. Look at Harden. Like, he's still got a bag. Like, he's still got the bag. He can still get to the rim. Like, even as he ages, he's able to do that. So, like, yeah, man, Shai is nuts. He's absolutely the MVP favorite in my eyes. And I agree with Wendy. I kind of think it is his to lose. And I just want to read this crazy stat to you, Moles. This is from the Lead SM on Twitter. Most total points this season. Number 1, Shai with 1998. Number 2 is Shai through 3 quarters of play with 1,690. Then number 3 is Anthony Edwards. 5 is Nikola Jokic. 4 is Nikola Jokic. 5 is Jalen Brunson. Number 6 is Shai without any 3-pointers at 1,605. Then you got 7, Jason Tatum. 8, Giannis. And number 9 is Shai without free throws at 1,507, right above Kate Cunningham, 1,479. So you have 4 different qualifiers. Like, you could say Shai gets to the line too much, take his free throws away, he's still one of the top scorers. Shai, what was it? Oh, he's relying on 3-pointers. Like, he's just chucking threes. Take his threes away. Like, he's still just like an absolute bucket inside the lane. Like, forget about it. He's still like a top 6 scorer on that end. And the fact that he is second in the league through 3 quarters of play, like, imagine the numbers that he could put up if he was able to, like, finish some of these games. Like, if teams were actually giving him a challenge, like, his career high now is 54. Like, we're talking like 60-point games. There's games where he easily could have got 60 with how good he had been playing if they had provided the challenge for him to have to go get 60. Like, it's absolutely absurd.
He waited so long to actually go for that 50.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of games where he, like, even last year, where it's like, okay, like, is Shai gonna get 50? Is he gonna drop 50? Like, he would score like 18 in the first quarter and be like, is this a 50-pointer for him? And then he just lets the game go to everyone else and gets everyone else involved because he's a good leader. And then this year he was like, all right, fine. I'm just going to rip people's throats out, as you put it. And so it took him forever to get his first. And I think he's the fastest ever to go from his first to his 4th 50-point game or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, like, if that's where we are, if that's what you want, but he's still not even like really hunting it in a way that's like Kobe would have, right?
Yeah.
Kobe would have been like, oh, it's my night. I'm getting 60 tonight. I'm going for 80 tonight, 81. I'm not saying Shai's got 81 necessarily in his arsenal, but he's absolutely got 60. He potentially even has 70 if he really wanted it. So, and the thing is, like, Kenny Be Real said, every time Shai takes a shot, it's a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost doesn't matter where the hell it is for him on the floor. It's just, my goodness, dude, like, it's unreal. And none of us, even the most optimistic Kentucky BBN fan, did not see this coming.
I said his ceiling is like a top 10 guy in the NBA.
Ceiling, like, and you would be thinking like 3 years from now, potentially. Like, if somebody would have told you this guy's going to be better than Book, you would have said you're high.
Oh God, dude, I hate to like go on a side tangent, but I got so mad this weekend. Me and Chelsea was at the mall, and like we went to some other stores because I saw some NBA jerseys, and I just kind of wanted to see. Like they had, all the big popular names, the LeBrons, the Currys, the Wembys, Ja Morant was still in there, Jason Tatum, and I saw Devin Booker jerseys. I saw Tyrese Maxey jerseys. I didn't see a single freaking Shea jersey in Lexington or Richmond. And I'm like,
This is Kentucky, y'all. He played
I'm
at
like,
Kentucky.
it's so annoying because sometimes it feels like people just forgot Shea played at Kentucky. It's like, yeah, Devin Booker's really good at basketball. And like his team went farther. Like he was on like a much better team than Shea was. Shea had to carry like a worse team in his time at Kentucky. But Shea is far and away a better player than Devin Booker right now. And he absolutely deserves to have his jersey on sale in at least Lexington, Kentucky, where freaking University of Kentucky is at. Like I was pissed off. Like I was actually mad about it. But nah, man, like Shea has been nuts. He's going to continue to be nuts, and I think he's absolutely deserving of MVP this year. I had, who was it? Texan by Nature said he needs the new net rating. I'm going to read what I found, and if it's no good, this is what I got. Net rating right now is 12.8, which is not the best all time. We're just going to have to settle for number 2 right now. We are still 0.6 behind the Chicago Bulls, the 96 Bulls at 13.4. But hey, we're right there, man. We've got some games to catch up on it, and as long as I said, as long as we got 2 in Thunder Blue, we got a puncher's chance.
Man, that net rating should be so much higher.
Yeah,
Should be so much higher, but we squandered huge leads in the fourth quarter.
A few. Yep.
Like high 20 differential, and the guys go out, and then it's like, it's a 13-point win. It's like, it's worse than that, but it's fine. All the metrics say this team is like on par with this is a championship caliber team.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm trying to look up where it's ranking and point differential at the current time. Yeah, sorry. Cone usually has all this pulled up. Okay, yeah, so this is just, never mind. Yeah, I can't find the actual stat for it.
So upcoming, we've got Denver in a back-to-back at home Sunday and Monday. We're at Boston on Wednesday.
Sure.
And then we've got, and I'll just say it until, the boys go into town. So Denver for a home and home, back-to-back, take a beat in Boston on Wednesday, take a couple beats in Detroit on Saturday, and then Milwaukee on Sunday. So there's that back-to-back. And then Monday, Tuesday, they're off at home for a 2-game homestand, which we will be at.
Mm-hmm.
So out of those games, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games until we get there. Where do the Thunder?
Bro.
5 games in an 8-day span.
Bro, that is a hellacious 5-game span, by the way. Back-to-back against the Nuggets. Then you follow that up with the Celtics. Then you play the Pistons after a couple of days off, grant you. But, like, the Pistons have been so good this year. And especially, like, after the All-Star break, they've been playing so good. And then you got to play the Bucks on the second night of a back-to-back. And the Bucks have been solid, too, whenever they've been healthy. So, man, that is a tough 5-game stretch, Matty Moles. I don't know, man. I really believe in this team, but I got to say that they're probably still going to go 5-0. I ain't waiting. We're crushing this. No, I really think – yeah, I want to say if we lose one, I think we lose one of the 3 games between the 2 Nuggets and 1 Celtics. I think that I could see either scenario. I could see us losing the first one and like kind of course correcting and getting back on it and then winning both of them as like statements. I could see us winning the first Nuggets game and losing the second one just because of the nature of playing back-to-back teams, back-to-back nights. And I could see us winning both Nuggets games, feeling really high and mighty about ourselves, and then losing the Celtics game, at Boston also. So I could see any scenario on that, but I could also see us just ripping off all 3 of them and then the league just quivering in their boots.
Fair enough. I think we go 3-2.
Okay.
Man, these boys are just tired. They're tired.
Hey, they resting. They rested tonight.
Well, they rested tonight, but like day after tomorrow starts that 8-day span with 5 games in it against all good teams.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they're going to wrap up in Boston late and then get in Thursday morning early, and then have Thursday, Friday, and fly out Friday afternoon ish to Detroit.
Yeah.
That's a quick turn. That's tough.
I mean, you never know. They could fly straight to Detroit and just camp out.
And just hang out.
Never know.
Yeah.
Or hang out in Boston and then fly out to Detroit. Either way.
I'd probably rather do that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, word. So that's tough. But then it eases up significantly after that. So we're going to have a really fun stretch down the end, even if a lot of our starters are sitting. So I guess the follow-up question I've got for you right now, as we see things, 52-11. The most wins we could get is what? 71?
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
How many wins do we get?
Man. I don't know if they care, honestly. Like, they've got the 1 seed pretty much locked up. Like, they are 11 and a half games ahead of the Lakers and the Nuggets right now in the 1 seed. I think that they're definitely going to, like, kind of play out, like, this next stretch of games, between, like, the Nuggets and I would honestly say, like, most of the month, I think that they're really going to, like, try and, like, play as hard as they can. But I could really see them taking their foot off the gas at the end. So, like, with that mindset, like, how many games we got this month? We got 5, 10. We got 12 games the rest of the month. And so you add 12 to what'd you say? We have 52 wins right now?
That'd be 64.
Yeah, so I'd say 70. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think that they could still win, like, 64, 65 games, just because, man, even if we rest guys, like, even if we rest the starters, like, we saw tonight what this team is capable of. Like, even if you have to play Adam Flagler and Brandon Carlson extended minutes, like, the rest of the team is able to carry them to wins. Like, and, it'll kind of depend on, like, I need to look at, like, April and the 7 games we play in April. So, like, we play the Lakers back-to-back games in April.
Phoenix, Utah, New Orleans, like.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Phoenix really fighting for playing. Utah, I'm not really worried about. New Orleans, I'm not really worried about. So, like, we play Pistons, Rockets, Lakers, Suns, and I could see those 5 teams, like, really trying to get wins, to, like, jockey for positioning. And I just question if we care at that point. April might be a whole wash, honestly. But, yeah, I would say, like, 64. I think I'll stick with, like, 64 wins. What do you think, Moles?
Yeah, I mean, I think 64 to 66 is probably realistic. And it's so freaking crazy. That's so many games. That's a lot of damn games, man.
It is.
Looking at 52-11 right now doesn't even feel real. That doesn't even feel real. And that's with us not being healthy pretty much all season. Like, we don't know really what this team even looks like still whole.
No, we've only had small glimpses.
Banana sandwich. But
yeah, I mean, the Celtics had 64 wins last year as frame of reference. So with that being said, let's get 65. Let's pass the Celtics as well. But
as long as the Cavs have 64.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that I think if the Nuggets are able to beat the Thunder and Jokic is able to go nuts, I don't think that it wins the MVP for Jokic, but I definitely think it helps his case. I think if Shai goes nuts and we sweep the Nuggets on national television,
Curtains. Yeah.
yeah, like there's no contest. Like Shai can sit the rest of the year, and I think he wins MVP at that point. Because that's been something that the national media has like really like hammered home. The last couple of years is like felt like I can't remember who it was, but like between Embiid and Jokic, like one of them would sit out anytime they played each other. And
Embiid doesn't play in Denver.
Okay, that's what it was. So yeah, Embiid wouldn't
Yeah.
play in Denver. He wouldn't play against Jokic, and that's what everybody kind of wanted to see. So they're going to see Shai versus Jokic unless Jokic dodges. I know Shai's not dodging. Shai's going to be out there. Shai wants all the smoke. He will cook every nugget out there. He'll give you a 50-piece chicken nugget. So I think there's a chance that MVP is sewn up shut over the weekend. And shout out T in the chat says there's 2 minutes remaining, and the Nuggets game is all tied up against the Phoenix Suns, 120-120. That'd be huge if they lost that game.
Suns have outscored them by 11 in the fourth quarter.
Shout out to that guy Devin Booker we were talking about. He's got 32 points. But yeah, Jokic has 26, 19, 16. That's a good stat line. I can't even hate. I cannot even hate. And that's honestly the thing about this MVP race. And maybe it's just like NBA discourse in general. But like, people feel like whenever you're propping up the guy that you're rooting for, you have to tear down the other guy. Like, I fully acknowledge Jokic is having an awesome season. And I think that if he won the MVP, he would be deserving, like any other year, to win the MVP. But I think that Shai is just as deserving. And as I said, I think given the circumstances, given the narrative, given the team success that he has had, I think that he should get it more than I do Jokic.
Agreed.
So that's how I feel about it. Master Blaster says, I don't see us losing half our games to lose our number 1 seed. Yeah, I don't either. He says, we're going to do our players like Popovich did Duncan Parker and Ginobili. Let's rest and random games off. Yeah, I could definitely see it. Got to get right for the playoffs. Like, we want to have our guys healthy. Hopefully we don't play Caruso the last month of April. That's what I'm saying right now. I don't want old man playing in the month of April. I want him fresh for the playoffs. But yeah, man, that's I mean, I didn't ask. Oh yeah, you said 64-66. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see, man. It's been a crazy season. It's been a lot of ups and downs in terms of like the injuries and everything that we had to face, but like the Thunder have succeeded through all of it, and it's been an absolute ride. It's been very fun, and I can't wait to see where the ride takes us next. And I also wanted to point out, I've been just kind of plugging the event, the Top Thunder fan event, as I did at the top of the pod. But I failed to mention that, information for that. If you are coming to the Top Thunder fan event, like if you've bought a ticket, or even if you haven't bought a ticket, if it's not in your financial means, if you have plans that night, whatever that may be, you can still come to the Top Thunder meetup at the Parlor. It's our 3rd year at the Parlor. It's a great place. It's a very large location. They've got multiple options for eating. They've got a great grill place where you can get burgers and stuff. I love their burgers. They got a great pizza place. I think they got a wing place upstairs. Like, they've got a lot of different options. And then, of course, they got like a full bar and everything. So come to the Parlor at 1:30. We'll be there from 1:30 to 5. And then from there, we're going to kind of make our way over to the arena. Try to get there early to get player autographs and stuff. But, yeah, 1:30 to 5 at the Parlor in OKC, March 21st. Disregard March 19th. March 21st. Yeah, we want to see you guys there. And also, you just go ahead and put that out there. If you're in Oklahoma City or you're in the Oklahoma City area, we will be having Topic Thunder open runs on Saturday afternoon, Still working out of time on kind of like figures out like what works best with everybody, but probably like somewhere around like 1 o'clock or something like that after lunchtime. We will be meeting up at a court in OKC, an outdoor court, and we'll be there for a couple hours. Come through, let's play some basketball. Get your butts kicked, basically. Come dunk on me, if you will. But yeah, no, it's going to be an absolute blast. We'll have more information for that as we get closer to it, kind of lock down which court, what time for sure, how long we'll be there and everything. But definitely want you guys to be a part of that. T said that Christian Brown hit a 3 to take the lead with 1.4 left in the game. And wouldn't you know it, Nikola Jokic was the assist. So that is fun.
26, 18, and 17 for Jokic right now.
Yep. Can't even hate. Good stat line. But, Moles, that's kind of all I got for the pod today. You got anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Feels good to be on top.
It does. It absolutely does. And shout out to Alex and Tierney for never jumping in the pod and making me lie in the description. So, love you guys for that. Didn't do an underdog ad, but the description will still be in the link. I think our promo is still going for the rest of this month. So click that link, use promo code Thunder. You'll get up to $1,000 for free cash and a free pick on your first entry. And if you want wins, just go follow Cone, because I think he's had like a 4 or 5 night win streak. So he will get you right on that. But until next time, hope everybody has a great night. God bless. Hooping you can. And as always,
Thunder up.